Thank you for being here at the regular meeting of the LaSalle County Commissioners Court. It's June 8th, 2020. It's 1:10 p.m. We're at the district courtroom, LaSalle County Courthouse, 101 Courthouse Square, Tula, Texas. We have Commissioner Joaquin Alba, Erasmo Ramirez, Sir Will Ayala Sr., and myself as a quorum. So we have a quorum. We rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one people.
Is there any public comment? Number 4, discussion possible action to approve bills, accounts payable, and payroll. Is Jorge going to be available?
No,
On phone?
I thought.
Jorge Flores.
I thought. Oh, I thought.
Okay. Oh, hi, Jorge.
So you did.
No. I know Mr. Martinez sent you some draws as well, coming up on the projects. Uh, It may have been even just today, so I know you may not have it on there, but on those contracts, you can still pay them as the Wednesday bills. Those contracts have already been approved, provided that Paul Rylander and everybody else has signed off on the project. Yeah, yesterday, so you may not have had a chance to open it yet. Do we have any minutes, Marty? Hmm?
motion to pay the bills with check.
Motion's been made and second to pay the bills as presented. Is it second? Mr. Ayala has made the motion. Mr. Ramirez seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Discussion possible action to approve the minutes of May 26, 2020 and June 1st, 2020.
Make the motion to approve the minutes as presented, Judge.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes as presented. Commissioner Ayala made the motion, second by Commissioner Ramirez. So we got a couple items there that we need to probably come back. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now, reports, you gave us the reports. Has everybody filed a report? Yes. Now, is the report for the other constables here? It's in this package? Mr. Flores? I noticed that, like under tax collections, just for the general fund, we're like almost $3 million short, 2.9. Have you had a chance to see if there's any outstanding checks in the tax assessor collector that have not been deposited?
No, Judge, I'll review the report, because this, for the month of May, we didn't get that much. So I'll review the report while we're in. But everything should be in.
Well, because we're showing a $2.9 million shortage. And then if we look at the road and bridge commissioners, which would be 121 to 24. For example, number 4 is still $123,000 short. That would be the same for number 1, should be exactly the same. And then 3 and 2 would be the same. And 3 is 74,828. So once you add general fund, the road and bridge, then it does hit $3 million that we're short. Usually by this time of year, usually by February, pretty close to, well, over 90% of the collections are out there. So that's a lot of money that it's short. I mean, it might be bankruptcies, might be something, but if the money's not gonna come in anymore, then we're gonna reach a shortage at the end of the year. And you'd have to dig out of surplus. Well, I mean, the thing is, and that's kind of tied as well with the nursing home. So you run into some serious shortages. And remember last year, you had a lot of checks in boxes that had not been deposited. And based on the amount of money that's coming in, that probably continued again if she can deposit as she works it. And if those checks aren't there, you run into the problem, you know, will they become stale over 90 days old? Or, you know, is this truly correct? Because if they're still in the box, they're not filed, then they're not going to show up in the bank account because they haven't been deposited yet. And in all the years that I've been here, I've never seen it that far on. But it is a hard year as well. If your oil went down, and you've had the virus. But keep in mind, if there are shortages, if there is a shortage, then at some point we need to come back and freeze everything. Maybe cancel, you know, some projects. But there's a big shortage. And I'm thinking it's probably out there, but I want to make sure. So before we address a $3 million shortage just on ad valorem, we look at the slowdown of all the other monies. And for the rest of just the general fund, up to date, we're almost $3.8 million short. Which is 3.8, just the general fund. So people don't have jobs, they can't pay taxes, you know, your fines go down, you know, it all affects the economy. So you take measures, okay, you tie down, you know, you slow down on the overtime and the comp time, okay? So I don't know if you could check into that, but I really think we either needs to get the auditors or someone needs to go down there to see if she has any money that has not been deposited. On, on the reports that are being given to us. We have a lot of reports here. We got January bank statement for February, March, and April. I didn't see the May. See the May bank statement here? So this kind of frees us up. We get a chance to kind of go down there and we need to find out where the difference is in those monies. And it's possible that it may be deferred revenues that haven't been reported yet. I don't know if you've checked into that yet.
I don't think we're good. So yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'll double check that, but they were recorded as
See, when I said deferred revenues, this year when we set the tax rate in September, Mary will start getting taxes that people pay in October, November, December. So what Jorge does is he records those as a deferred revenue because he can't use them this year. So it's considered a liability that we can't touch it. So next year when he sets the budget, he reverses it and shows it as income. That way he recognizes for the year they need to. So that's why I said unless it's that means that he's already done the reversal. So you've done that. So yeah, so we could look into that. But I would accept the reports as presented and then ask Constable number 3 to submit his report. I'll seek a formal motion. Second. Motion's been made and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Number 7, discussion possible action on emergency declaration changes. Mr. Martinez, good afternoon, how you doing?
Is there
I hate to put you on the spot, but hopefully you're kind of prepared on what changes we need to do.
Right now, everything that the governor has put out is mainly towards the gyms, restaurants, and businesses, business owners, as far as other businesses can go from 25 to 50% as of June 3rd. That includes bars and similar establishment can go up to 50% as well, as long as all the patrons are seated. Restaurants can go from 6 people at a table to 10, and restaurants on June 12th can go up to 75%. And I believe that'll be Friday.
One of the things that I've noticed on the restaurants, and we'll keep in mind that we put the guidelines for restaurants, gyms, and different businesses online. Mr. Varela did it. But I've noticed several restaurants still using like menus, not only in this community, but surrounding county. They're supposed to have a disposable paper menu.
Yes.
And they're not doing it. They're not doing it. And I don't know if we're required to have paper plates, paper cups, or requirement to continue washing dishes. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. I know
Only
there's
the paper menu.
Yeah, only paper menus, disposable. As far as utensils. It's not supposed to be pre-wrapped. It's supposed to be already in packages and stuff like that. But it doesn't say if they have to be disposed. But also the gyms are part of the 50% as well.
I understand. I ran into one of the doctors in Pearsall on Friday, and they had one household with 5 cases, and it was community spread. It wasn't related to the jail. So the number's still going up. And I know there was somebody from one of the oil companies in Ensenada that tested positive, so they're doing the back tracing. The nursing home got contaminated. The National Guard did the testing, so they have to throw all those tests, and they're gonna do them again, but they're gonna send the kits to the nurses. So today I reached out to Carl Finnenbaum and told him, you know, make sure that they have a chain of command or chain of custody on those tests so they don't get contaminated again. And that was the reason we didn't want to go in, because they originally get the fire department to do it.
Yes, that's
But what if we were contaminated, we'd get them sick? So that's why we thought National Guard was very much prepared to do that, but they ended up throwing all those tests out. And I sent you that email just this morning, because I got it this morning.
Okay.
So what they're gonna do is they're gonna send the kits to them.
And I talked to Gabby, the administrator, today, this morning, to talk about that. She wants to be able to test all of her, probably all the staff members, whenever we do our next testing here for the
See,
county.
the National Guard was sending all their tests to California. So it was taking 2 weeks to 30 days to do it. So on the ones that we did, the Biomed, I mean, they were a lot faster. So we were ahead of them. So I don't know if that's gonna happen in National Guard across the state,
Yes,
or it was an isolated incident. So they're gonna have to do that testing.
Strack put out an email of listing of nursing homes that did come out with false positives. So a lot of nursing homes are having to retest their facility and their staffs again, because whatever lab they went to has a bad reputation of giving false positives.
You know, the California.
Yes.
So we'll have another test this week on, I don't know.
I believe it's Thursday.
Thursday
Yes,
at the fire station,
yes,
and that's a mouth test. That's a mouth test. So I didn't have any complaints. And then we will have already exceeded our 5% requirement. Now, other than about 9 people at the local jail, I think sheriff has managed to test all his employees and all his inmates in Ensenada. So that's good. So one of the things in coming to the courthouse, the judges still haven't decided what they want. We have wear masks coming in and wearing gloves. I mean, I'm okay with just a mask. Just make sure they wash their
yeah,
hands.
we continue to use the mask. The fire department can continue to provide some masks for patrons that come into the courthouse that don't have it. We can continue to do that.
Now, a couple of meetings back, I don't think it was last meeting, we talked about Butterfield.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez said that he could,
Okay.
he could,
Oh, you can. Okay.
he could serve under the constable.
All right.
So Margie, we need to check, that we appointed pending approval of the county attorney, right? And so now, being that she's already said it could be done, then he needs to reach out to Pee Wee and Margie to do the paperwork to the clerk. So we can enforce citations. I mean, we've been following the governor's request, and it seems to be working in the community. We're not sanitizing the businesses anymore. I mean, kind of pulled them off. I think we got enough protective gear
Yes,
to
right
make
now
for the future.
Yes, sir.
But what we need the public to realize is that I know it gets tiring, but it's important to continue to wear your mask and have your distance and
Yes,
kind of stay away.
absolutely it is. Um, right now, there is in our region, there were 90 new cases within San Antonio, but I believe it's a lot coming from the protests that are happening right now. If we can continue to wear our masks, social distancing would be able to keep this under control.
When we come back to the mask, it's at the courthouse. The district judges have some different rules for the courtroom. So just to understand that they're probably going to require not only the mask and gloves as well, but that's for the district judge and whatever court there is. What what do we need to do for you today in reference to changes to the resolution?
Right now, we just need to do the changes the for the restaurants, but I believe Mr. Butterfield already has the capacity for all of them, as with the bars as well. I believe he did that a few weeks back when he did the 25%. He went ahead and did the 50 and the 75 as well. So, just putting it on the resolution, and I think Butterfield already has a good rapport with the restaurants, the bars, the owners, and they can get together. He can give them the new numbers, what their capacity is.
We had kind of put a curfew on the kids not to be out, not to go to the store. Each store can still determine, and that's still in place that the children shouldn't be going to the stores. But I don't want to get too relaxed, but
Yeah, right
I don't
now
want to get hard on them. If they have nobody else they got to go with the kids.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Yeah, right now, with the summer happening, school's officially done. Right now, as long as they're social distancing and washing their hands, I'll be good with having, kids going with parents to grocery store, stuff like that.
I mean that's a hard choice, but up to today, I don't think we've had any children that have been
No, sir.
positive in
Today,
this county.
we have 0
This
kids
county.
that have,
Children. I mean, so it's been, but I figure that it's here. People have to eat. They gotta work. The chance they're having to take. So and I think people know they need to wear masks and be protective. I hear kids talk about it, but at the same time, if you lift the curfew and they're walking around in little groups, you know, the parents need to stay on top of them.
I saw some at the restaurant, they had masks.
And see, but I saw some the other day. I saw a group of about 8 kids walking. I know they're tired. School's out. They want to be out, but they gotta keep away. They gotta wear a mask.
Yeah,
They gotta be realistic. So if we can put all the rules, the more rules that we put, the more they break them. So I said, relax it for now, and you'll get a break, and then we have to come back and address it when something happens, and we'll do it. So, I mean, I'd say we remove the curfew on the kids during the day. I would make a curfew. I would leave a curfew for all kids under a certain age at a certain time, unless they're working. I mean, working like if they're working at McDonald's at 10 o'clock or they're working somewhere else, it's fine. A lot of them say they're working, but they're not really employed.
I think on the continuation, there's also social distancing and they're gonna be like inside stores, continue the mask and, washing their hands and all of that. I think it continue, being safe. So it's good.
Yeah. And just gonna-
Continue working at it.
Yeah, some parents haven't let their kids go anywhere. I mean, at all. Huh? So, do we want to put any type of curfew kids up for late hours though? Yeah. I mean, change it. They still have to be a parent or guardian, but
So we consider what, just kids under 18 or what? Or what? 17.
I'd say 17 and under. I'd say little children 17 and under.
They have to be out there. Sometimes,
10 o'clock countywide.
unless they're accompanied by a parent or somebody taking care of them, an adult.
I'd say from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Be curfew for those under 17. Yes. That was good.
Just put them in it, huh? You take them in it.
Yeah, unless there was a parent. Unless there was a
That's
parent.
their testimony, they're not, well, maybe don't care.
I don't know what else. So we'll continue just.
Butterfield, so he's gonna start working for the county.
No, he's already working for the county. It just gives him the ability to issue citations. It doesn't change anything he is. He's not getting any additional pay. But what he has to do, and the sheriff's office has been working good, is that they'll send him a deputy. They'll send him a deputy, the deputy gives a warning. Now, he has the ability to write the citation. But now you're not using two personnel for something that can be handled by one. So it just saves that time.
Butterfield will still be under the fire department. He works for the fire department. The only thing he needs is the authority to write the citation. And that's why he'll be under the constables.
And vehicle-wise?
Vehicle-wise, he uses his personal as
Well, he can be in the police car. I mean, he can be in a.
yeah, he can be in a fire truck
He can
or
be in the fire truck or the whatever.
he's still fire.
Okay, he's gonna come in as a reserve.
Basically, Constable Maldonado gave me the authority to issue citation. It saves the sheriff's office from sending somebody. And throughout this process, even the city of Ensenada, they gave warnings. I don't think they gave any tickets. So I don't think there's been any tickets given.
Just one.
So we're not looking at the money maker. We're just asking the community, instead of having you tickets, let's cooperate with what the requirement with the CDC. Let's just wear your mask, wear your glove, stay away, follow the rules. And then the restaurants need to follow the rules too, because if it says that they gotta use, menus that are on paper, then we expect them. They're not saying you can clean them and you can wipe them with Clorox. They're saying we want paper menus. So they need to understand, because some of them haven't opened up because at 25%, they still can't make any money. At 50%, it's hard. Now they go 75%, they should be better, but they gotta follow those rules.
Yeah, 75 is like 100, because they're not all the time.
Yeah, 75 is already a lot. But they gotta follow those rules. But we haven't been hardcore, everybody's been cooperating. Yeah, there's had some parties and people get tired, and we understand that. But, I'm just hoping, I was just wishing the rest of the country to be as cooperative, that's what we've had here. For being on I-35, done well, and I know the people are tired, but continue to work with us.
And on the family guys, it's gonna be at 10.
Yeah, we leave that alone.
And then it's not gonna be too big.
I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't change that.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear any too much on graduation parties. There's hardly any problems. So, I mean, they've already lost quite a bit. They already lost quite a bit, but I just know that the more rules you put, the more they want to break them. So we're saying, hey, work with us. We don't want the rule. We don't want to make money off, because it's tragic. We want to keep everybody safe.
Sometimes there's too many rules and it's hard for them to remember, exactly everything.
I know,
They'll keep up with the main ones,
but we're not protected. It's funny that the more the community got involved in cleaning and watching, the safer we've been. We've been lucky compared to others, but the luckiness comes because y'all prepare, y'all work hard. So we just got to continue to do that. It seems to be that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So, yeah, so we're asking the community to continue to support these decisions. And what I would suggest, commissioners, that we make a motion, so we don't have to be coming back, is to follow the governor's recommendations and that we could continue to use masks at the courthouse, but inside the courtrooms, we will follow those recommendations by the district judge. Here's my writing. We will remove the curfew. It'll be from 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. So, we'll change the curfew for all those under 17. And we ask businesses to follow the recommendations of the governor as we put on our website. And that'd be my recommendation. And that way we don't, every time the governor comes in and says, well, I'm opening this, we don't have to come back. Commissioner Ayala, agree to make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor say aye. Okay, on number 8, discussion possible action on budget amendments to Texas Ag Extension Agent, Ensenada Food Delivery, including equipment, furniture for annex, Ensenada Library, and Ensenada Community Center and Veterans Hall. And I know you had the annex, but in the construction of the center in Ensenada, the library in Ensenada, and the annex, we had put money in the reserve account called a betterment fund, which is a contingency fund. In the annex, there's 330,659. And that's in the, not annex, that's in the Ensenada Community Center. And the annex is 164,000. And usually when you open a new business, the cost for furnishing that business are all basically capitalized as a new location. So that's what we're thinking of, like the equipment we gotta buy in annex, whether it needs another vehicle. They're gonna need 2 vehicles over there. They got one for the elderly, which we bought last year, but they're gonna need a small vehicle like a warming tray for the warming that delivers, kind of like what Rosie has. But they have a small one, it's not real expensive, but it keeps all the food warm when they deliver. Because in Ensenada, you're gonna have 2 groups of people. You're gonna have one group of people that come to eat at the center, and you're gonna have one group that you deliver, so you need 2 vehicles. So we bought the travel one, it was 19, but we still need the delivery. And they're gonna need the tables and the chairs and the desks, not only for that, for the JPs, for the constable, You're gonna need some equipment for, not equipment, shelving for the library, your office. So we would take it out of the 330,000 betterment fund. Margie's gonna need equipment, she needs the shelves, and we promised her the shelves when we first started, because the old shelves she has are old. So, you said they're like 80,000? About 80,000 on hers. But to bring her equipment over there, she needs shelves, I think that's gonna be the only cost over there, to start. So we would do a budget amendment uh, to make sure that those startup costs that we have, the facility come out of the betterment fund. And I talked to Mr. Martinez already, Paul Rylander, and it's almost substantially complete on both those projects. Plus, we still need to go back and determine what the cost or penalties would be for, the delay. Just keep in mind that on those constructions, these projects are years slow. Yeah, we had some COVID-19 days, but we have a delay penalty on our contract of $1,000. And that reimburses us for the engineering costs, Paul Rylander's costs, actual, some of the labor costs from the others, so we'll get that money back from them. That's the intention of the delay, but we still gotta work with Mr. Ramos on that. But for the budget amendment, I know Mr. Flores had requested some changes for the ag extension agent as well. I don't know if you remember those amounts.
What are they needing, they need first house, chairs and desks.
What did she need at the,
Her main problem was because of the renovation of that building. She bought a lot of supplies and she ran out of her supplies and miscellaneous. Those were the two main line items. She did not have enough money to do a budget amendment within her own budget. So we're taking it out of the surplus.
because last week or 2 weeks ago, we made a budget amendment of $50,000 from the capital outlay, 499,402, and to Margie, but that was already expended. So we gotta pull it out of a different line item, and we have to determine that. We're not gonna leave you without money, but, so that's why we need to look at that. And that's part of the reason I had asked also for the record of January 27th, because I was pretty sure that when we did the budget amendments in January, that we agreed to take the money out of the storage for one of those positions. And we'll get the money back, but we can follow through that.
So we'll do a budget amendment for Margie for,
Oh, we'll have to correct it. We'll let Jorge find it.
and then for the veterans home, library, county agent.
Because what Jorge has to do on these budget amendments, we got some expenses on all this testing. We received 280,000 from the CARE. Of that, we're gonna get the testing done. We had sanitizing and we had overtime. Some of the testing costs, we could send it to the trustee because I spoke to Ira, and that frees up other money for overtime as well. So once Jorge determines how to apply the CARE Act money, we also got another 200,000 from the US Bank. It's gonna free up some money over here. But he's gonna have to free that up. Because the bills just came to me on the testing, and he's gonna have to sit down, we're gonna have to sit down with Mary and the fire department because of their HIPAA. I think they send them like individual people, so Mary's gonna have to come back. This employee works here, this employee works there, this is a prisoner. She's gonna have to break them in different baskets. And then you'll know how to apply that money. So I'm saying that there is enough money with the extra money that came in to give the ag extension agent And then for the equipment and the startup cost over there, on the monies that we had in the bond programs, there's enough money within those projects to where we're not putting general fund money, but it's project money to take care of the startup in Ensenada, the startup here, and then for those delay costs, we'll work with Ramos to make sure that they reimburse us for those out-of-pocket costs that we had. So that's the plan. You know, and to you're in agreement.
On those delay costs, I know there's bad weather days and everything, but what, roughly amount of days is?
It's about a year. I mean, you're talking 300,000. But one of the things they talk about is that you should really only ask to be reimbursed of that money you're out of pocket. So, if they owe us $300,000 for this one project, you might end up going to court because they say you didn't incur all of it. But if we spent 80,000 or 100,000 out of pocket because of the extra cost, then yeah, they're going to give into that. They're going to give into that. It's just being fair.
And no, we understand.
It's just being fair.
We understand there's, the slowdown, bad weather days and, COVID days and safety days. But, there was,
I mean, it kind of worked out like in Ensenada. It worked out with the three ladies that worked it because of all the extra people that we were serving. So they were supposed to start back in December or January, but because of the virus, we kept holding them off. But then their extra help worked because some people from Rosie's office would take off and they cook and help deliver. So they managed to deliver a lot of people. And I don't know how many people are being delivered to, but I understand pretty close to 300 plates a day that they're delivering to at home. But after this stops, it probably goes down to about 125 people. It doesn't go down in half because not everybody qualifies. So the budget amendments, just need to have the understanding one. Here's the budget amendment for Ms. Wilson. And of course, he's going to take it out of contingency, but he'll be doing more budget amendments. And then you're going to have to create a line item for the startup capital cost out of those 3 projects in Ensenada. And then that way they start pricing a vehicle as well. And there's probably going to still be some money left over. So that's what I was asking. I'll make the motion from the support to allow Jorge to allocate these. I guess from the contingency on the agriculture agent, and create a budget line item for the capital cost, startup capital cost for the Ensenada Annex, Ensenada Community Center, Ensenada Library, and the Annex. And Commissioner Ayala made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Are you happy now, Mark? Yes, now. Discussion possible action on Martinez Park field use reservation safety compliance. I would really like to have everybody here to see what their plans are. I mean, we made some rules. I think those rules should carry for now. But if they're really gonna start up a league or do something, I think we should really try to have a meeting just with them, the coaches, just with them. And kind of table it because they're saying yes, no, yes, no. What do you consider, Commissioner? I mean, I'd rather just leave it as it is, and until we actually say, you know, we can meet with them. So we just table this one, and I was also gonna ask, Carl Esser asked if we could table number 10, 11, 12, and 13. Because the bid got extended to this Friday, right? To this Friday. The bid got extended to this Friday.
Yeah, what is it, something about that?
Yeah.
Which one on the?
On the dialysis.
On the dialysis.
So we're gonna table that till next Monday. Oh, I mean, everything still stays the same as it is. I mean, we told them, you know, about games, they can still practice, we had set those rules last time. If they wanna use the facility working with Robert, all that still stays the same. The only thing. You wanna make them. Huh? Like if they wanna proceed with the game or something, just, easier. I mean, if they wanna have something, then they gotta talk to Robert about scheduling a game or whatever, but the concession stand's still closed, it's just bathrooms. They do it per hour, all that changes, but I'm saying, there's been talk from different people, they wanna have league play. And I'd rather hear from all them, I mean, it's not Babe Ruth, not Little League, but putting everybody together to try to give the kids that have T-ball a chance to play, which we're all for, but let's just hear them out on what they wanna do. I don't wanna make the rules because I don't know exactly what's going on, and I don't wanna commit them if they're not gonna play. So, if you're hearing us over here, we wanna work with you. If you wanna do some type of, youth organization or for your children, there's some rules that we have to follow by the governor, but we will work with you to meet with you individually. We have enough room here for, what about 50 people easily in this room that's allowed. So please let us know. I'd like to the table 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Motion's been made, table 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And second, made by Commissioner Ayala, second by Commissioner Ramirez. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed. Number 14, discussion and or possible action on Texas DPS audit and compliance for NICS records compliance for Justice Peace 2, 3, and 4, including status of software upgrade and current software use. I'll let you know a little bit more. Margie has to keep up with the NICS and our court hearings for the district. The district judges do their own compliance, and Margie's been doing that for the county. And what that means is to be able to get criminal justice grants, we have to keep our caseload, our outstanding cases, to a 90% compliance. So depending on what year you're working on. So what years did you work on this year or do? So what happens like on county court cases is that there used to be cases that were open forever. DWI that wasn't heard or misdemeanor, and 5, 6 years later it still showed outstanding. So they're requiring us to work all these cases. I mean, they all come to court. So for this year, 2017, 2018, they got to come up with 90% compliance. And they're doing that to the district court. So if you got outstanding felony cases, they expect you to get the cases caught up. Now they're asking for the JPs to do that too. They want those cases caught up. So we would see receivables on fines going back 2007, 2008, said, we got to close them now. The state is requiring us to close it, or we're going to lose funding. It's now you JPs, you have to do it. So I sent an email to other JPs, say, okay, 2, 3, and 4, all those old receivables, you got to catch them all up. So 17 and 18 have to be to 90%. And I think everything before that is gonna have to be worked or closed. Or I think it has a warrant issue, right? A final conviction, it has to be final conviction with a warrant. It can't just be an FTA, it has to have a final conviction. So they want to be in touch with y'all for a plan to bring them up to date. They said they were getting yours, so you weren't included in that. So, but they had kind of left the JPs alone and now said, okay, JP, you're included. So it's gonna be a lot of work and they gave, like 6 months to try to catch up. But it is gonna make us, on some of these total fines that have already gone to 2 or 3 different JPs, it's gonna allow us to carry all those up. You know, so it's gonna help us to clear all those up. But I wanted to bring that to your attention, and I think you're familiar with that as well. Now, the current software, on some of the software in Hill Country is still active. And I know Crystals is active for 2 years on software. What I wanted to know, when did we pay that? Did we pay for it just recently or is it something that was paid a long time ago? Because what we haven't met from anybody from Hill Country is how they can support us. I don't mind staying with Hill Country, but I want to hear from someone from Hill Country how they're going to support us. Because we're making changes to the other software, our financial, countywide, because of the same thing. And I think we could make changes to the court software. And I personally don't like the new software because Hill Country, I think, gave us a little bit more. But it may be a learning curve until we decide. So I can't just be so hypocritical of it and not give it a chance, because maybe it can develop or make changes to it to where we understand it, because it's so hard to learn something new. But Hill Country was bought out. There's some new companies wanting to provide new software, and they're probably more expensive, but I don't want you to lose that support, not be able to convert it later. Well, you could use it. I thought we decided on the software. Did we buy it or we haven't bought it? We haven't bought anything yet. But, huh? But at the same time, it seems that huh? But the, because Intech has to do a conversion. And if they haven't done the conversion at this point, and I know we went through it, but they, no? Because when someone buys a company, they buy, for example, Hill Country, they bought that software, they buy those clients, and they keep operating. And they'll continue to get contract money and make it work. But what we're concerned about is the support. So that company that bought Hill Country, what's going to be their support to us? Because we're paying them. So what support are they going to give us for it? So for that money we paid now, I want to know what support they're giving us. You know, there's going to be a little bit of overlap during the transition. And it's the same thing with Intech. But we need to find out, because it's going to be very important to you both in meeting these guidelines by Texas DPS. And the penalty is that if we don't do that, then there's no more criminal justice grants. And not only penalize Cotulla, they penalize Ensenal, LaSalle. So women's shelters grants, boom, are out. The vehicles that Ensenal gets, they're out. So anything coming from, governor's office or the federal government, right, they're canceled. So it's a very short time to get compliant. So Texas DPS is gonna do an audit to bring us up in compliance, and Margie knows that really the audit is they tell you this is where you need to be at. They don't really come down and look at these files and say, this is what we want. So everything that's reported Omni-based, and that's probably what they're following based on the Omni-based numbers. Okay, you got all these old ones, you gotta work them down. Which is okay. So that's what we're, I said, we got to get back on track, Intech. So Mary, you can check with Intech. And this is one thing, Crystal, you may want to check with Hill Country software. Who's your support people? When can you come meet with us? Because if you like Hill Country, that's fine. But they got bought out. And the owner of Hill Country Software is a guy by the name of, or he used to be the owner, Jim Stasny. And I've known him for 27 years. I've known him. And his kids were running it. And I spoke to his children, they're grown people now that were running it, and said, hey, we have no support. But sometimes it might be better, it might be something, they're the people that sold out. We'd like to hear the buyer, the new company, we'd like to hear from them. What's your plan for Hill Country? Because if we don't have to convert, it's great. I mean, this is the thing, is you got a software, it works. But if they tell us they're gonna support it and it's still working good, I don't mind staying with it. But if they're not gonna support it and you get into a problem that thing glitches, you're gonna have some problems. There's different computer languages that were first started. It started with Fortran, which is more numerical. Then the second language was COBOL, and that was more writing sentences and so forth. That was 30 years ago. COBOL, maybe it's 35 years old. You have all these new languages that exceeded. Hill Country is still written in COBOL, which is a very, very old language. The only good thing about it is it's like encrypted, that once you make a change to it, it is written in there forever. Can't be changed. If you look at like QuickBooks or Apple, some of the new integrated software, well, those entries can change and they overwrite each other. So that's the advantage of Hill Country, is it's kind of like encrypted, it can't change. You look at other things like Apple, then you can make changes and you lose that chain of custody or hard to follow. But see, but we authorize, you're the ones that are going to go through the changes. So we as Commissioners Court approved the contracts, made the payment, and the salesman basically should have come back and said, okay, Commissioners, we're going to do these dates. This is their schedule. Here's a calendar, plan it, and they work with you all to do it. But this is the thing, is we voted on that new company. We took bids, we had different people come in, and it still hasn't changed. Mary will follow up on payment, you know, maybe it's still on somebody's desk. But, but at the same time, if you're gonna have a good contract, then you're gonna follow up with it. Okay, for some reason, we haven't converted, and you'd rather do it in the beginning of the year. You close out the other one, you don't. So that has to happen, but the state is now saying, we got some additional requirements, we expect you to do this. The DPS will be doing an audit, and if Hill Country really got bought out, then the new company that took over it, is, has to make a decision whether they're gonna support Hill Country or not. Because you might have Dublin, you may have computer programs, you know, and you may not get it, and then you become responsible for that. You have information that deals not only with money through the county, but it has people's lives. You got their addresses and social security numbers, their birth dates. You got stuff, you want it protected. You want to make sure it's protected. So at this point, I'm saying, we got some marching orders from DPS, we gotta hit some deadlines. We still have some software issues, we need to get those people in, either they're gonna support you or they're not gonna support you. You know, and we got slowed down for 3 months because of the virus, we did, everything slowed down to a crawl, okay, we gotta get back on track. And if you feel that you wanna stay with Hill Country, we've already voted on it, but you know what? If someone wasn't completely honest, we'll fight it, but we want to hear from Hill Country. Not the old owners, the new owners of Hill Country. Because if you're talking to the old people, they have no reason to, you know, continue to stay involved.
Hill Country was paid every year, the annual maintenance. It's due once a year, I don't know the amount, it varies from JPs. But that gets paid every year, or they no longer support you. That's that. LGS, Law Hill Country, most of the employees that Hill Country had now work for LGS. When there's a problem with the JP software, I talk to Hill Country people working for LGS. There's like 3 or 4 techs that still work Hill Country. They work for LGS, but they're the Hill Country people. At some point, the JPs are going to change. If they don't switch to some other software, they're going to switch to LGS, because LGS will be phasing out Hill Country software to their own software. Now, whether or not these 4 people continue working, I couldn't tell you, but that's what's happening is when they say we pay Hill Country, it's the annual maintenance.
I'm assuming that it's September of this year, when I was done, because I paid up to September, then I'm assuming that's the transfer of LGS. So yes, I can hurry up and figure out.
The thing with Hill Country, it's a very minimal fee. I don't know when it got paid. I'd like to see when it got paid. Because we voted on this decision last year. If that conversion would have happened, maybe we would have saved, but it's a small amount. It's a very small amount compared to really the cost of the new program. But the whole thing with Hill Country is, like I said, LGS bottom out. It doesn't seem what we're hearing is that they're really gonna put a lot of attention to Hill Country software. So the bells and whistles, chances are at some point they're gonna say, yeah, you can keep using it if you want, we're just not gonna support it no more. And when they say don't support it, you have a breakdown, then you get into someone having the right program code to make those changes. You know, and I'm saying it's a 30-year-old language. It'd be very hard to find someone to write COBOL.
So like on that yearly fee or maintenance fee, Victor, if they have any problem on that fee that they charge per year, if they have problems, they'll come in and that's what.
Well, they'll answer the phone and try to log in remotely and make changes.
Help them
or
out.
get a hold of me to actually physically go to the machine or the company and make the changes if they require or whatever problems they're having. But it's just the support, paying a I don't remember if it's $2,000, $4,000 rent, something like that a year. It gives you the right to call them for no. If you don't renew the support, at some point, you still own the data, the program's still yours, but you may not be able to add any more new cases. So you're going to need new software at some point. You still want the old software because you have to go back and look, see what happened 2 years ago, but you can't add more cases to the old software. But as long as you're paying support, they'll do that. But I would say at some point they're going to change to LGS or something.
Basically, what LGS did is they bought Hill Country out. And when they bought Hill Country out, they bought all the contracts that exist, including LaSalle. And what they come back and says, if you come with us, we'll give you a better deal because you're an existing customer. But it doesn't mean it's the best deal. That's why we went out for bids and we went with Intech. On January 10th, they were paid $51,980 in tech. And here are all the contracts. So at this point, Roxanne, you have to get on the phone, or someone needs to get a phone. I'll give them a call in a little bit and say, hey, it's been slow because of this. We expect you to deliver a product. We want credit for this time lost. We want credit for this time lost. And right. And it's gonna finish it slow. Or not credit, just change the date of whenever. No. Well, yeah, give us credit for that time. For that time. It has to. What? At the EOC? So right now, all we're gonna do is just follow up with Intech, table this item, address it in a couple months. I'll table it for 60 days.
I'm gonna go with it. You made that motion, please? Second.
And then we can come back and follow up with our other conversion. Yeah. You understand something? Motion's been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now, Jorge, now we got LGS for you.
Financial.
It's all, it's the same company. Yeah, it's the same company. But we got Jorge, to research because we've already changed the, county clerk, district clerk, right, to, LGS. And Mr. Flores has been working on a couple of different ones. It's not LGS, is it?
LGS has a financial software, which very few people use. It's, the name of it is Financial Intelligence. And Hill Country is actually recommending Financial Intelligence because it's owned by them. And we looked into Financial Intelligence. Financial Intelligence is a per user software. The more users you have, the more expensive it is. And we were looking for a software that is unlimited users because of the direction we want to take the county. which is every department can review their own budget. The fire department, the sheriff, the parks department, they can review their own budget without additional cost. They can't change anything, but they can review their budget. They can also submit, during the budget process, they can actually submit their budget, their wish list through the software. And then Judge, you can take the acts and cut their request, but they can submit their request through the software.
So that's the one you showed me last year, that you can put all the employees, Jolly, Sally, Juanito, whatever it is. They put in the budget request and it calculates everything else, it gives you grand total, and it fills in those expenses automatically.
Yes. And the company that we found is called Unlimited Users, STW Software. Now, during the process of the past few months, STW got bought out by OpenGov. That's why the proposal that you have in front of you is OpenGov and not STW. OpenGov was more of a budgeting and reporting software, but they wanted to get into the financial software business, so they bought out STW a few months ago.
Now, kind of bring me up to date, and maybe I'm off, but if you have a big department, road bridge, sheriff, or whatever, they can actually go to their employee, look at their checks, what they've earned, only for their department, but nobody else will use software.
They can only view their department.
But only the personnel in their department though, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty good. So for example, if Chief Heath here says, I wonder what this guy got paid. I wonder what he worked, what was submitted. He could actually go on the system and say, hey, these are his checks. So then they wouldn't be, hey, Mary, pull this information on my employee. They're his employees, they have access to it. So that's pretty neat.
And from the treasurer's standpoint.
It can really happen. It's pretty neat. It really happened. So,
from the treasurer's standpoint, cash receipts and accounts payable, the software are pretty much the same everywhere. But I think the major change is going to be in the payroll department. I think there's going to be a lot of time savings in how payroll is calculated and done.
what about the conversion?
They're converting 5 years, the last 5 years. So the cost is actually $40,000 a year, except for the first year, which is $105,000, because of the conversion process, and conversions are very expensive.
So what we're gonna let, they go back 5 years or what?
They're gonna convert the information that Hill Country has, they're gonna go back 5 years and put it in the STW open door software.
Somebody gonna be doing a lot of work.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah.
We can convert more years, but every additional year that we convert is gonna cost us additional.
I don't think it's that going back, taking up all that information for the past 5 years.
5 years should be sufficient.
Yeah. Imagine how many pages you gotta flip to go back, catch up.
Well, I think part of the reason is that for record retention, you're really supposed to keep 6 years of data. That's what the IRS requires. That's what they also require in cases of fraud investigation. You keep 6 years of records. The normal statute of limitations is 3 years of financial records, but the 6 years is the key because of the requirement. And as long as you can have detailed general ledgers printed, you should be okay, or a separate system that can always be booted on to access that old information.
And prior to the 5 years of converted data, we'll still have Hill Country software, as long as nothing happens to the server will be gone. We can still access prior to
So
5 years.
wouldn't you think you're better off getting a whole brand new server to be backed up and save that old server just for Hill Country, in case something does happen, you have to access it in case of emergency, and just kind of keep it like a time capsule. You know, if you have to replace the server again, well, you get a new one, but you preserve that one in case you really, really have to go back. You know, at some point, following the state retention records, you know, it's gonna fade out. But that computer will probably be obsolete anyway.
Now, Hill Country never told us when they're ceasing operations. All they told us that they'll be operational during 2020. They did not commit to 2021, which is why we're starting the process now. Because if they shut it down in 2021, Hill Country has a lot of clients, and we're afraid to bottleneck those conversions. Because it could be a problem with so many different clients looking for new financial software.
Now, this pricing that you have on OpenGov, is this based on the state bid price? Or do we have to go out for requests for proposals?
This was the state bid.
This is state bid price? And it's through the Houston Council of Government or General Service Commission?
I don't remember which one.
What would be the timeline?
The conversion would take about 6 months. Hopefully, the timeline would be shorter than that because now they have more experience converting Hill Country clients. The problem with Hill Country software, as far as the conversion is concerned, is that Hill Country works on a year-to-year basis. Most softwares are just continuous, and software, Hill Country, you have to actually get out of 1 year to get into another year. So that complicates the conversion process, but they have some experience now converting Hill Country data. So, but let's say, hopefully we could go online January 1st, 2020.
Now, does this operate more like a Intuit, QuickBooks type?
No, it works more as a fund accounting software, more like Hill Country, but better. It's a fund accounting software, and that that item you mentioned about Hill Country and Peachtree, where you can actually change the original posting that you did, and there's no record of that. This software keeps an audit trail of anything you change. In fact, once you post, you cannot change an original entry. You would have to create a new.
You'd have to have a corrected entry. So,
And no more setting beginning balance. With Hill Country, we have to reset balances every.
corrected entry, what's that corrected entry is, if I make a mistake, transfer $100,000 from one fund to another, it's set in stone. The only way to correct it is to make an entry that, okay, I made a mistake, I got it back, that money, so to show who transferred the money back. With Intuit or QuickBooks Peachtree, you can go to that entry and change that 100,000 and make it disappear like it never existed, and there's no record whatsoever. But if it's like fund accounting, it's still working like Hill Country, that it forces you to have corrected entry, just like an accounting journal entry. So in essence, when you make that correction, it'll print out a journal when you do your report, and it says, Joel transferred this right there. Because I'm sure everybody's gonna have a password, so to keep track of those people. So,
We also looked at another software, the one that the city uses, Assist, but that one is not adequate for the needs.
man, we converted Margie's. How much do we pay for Margie's? That's the same.
It works good, wasn't it?
Okay. How solid is open government? How solid of a company is it?
They're nationwide. They're a nationwide company.
Do they get traded? Are they a public company?
I don't know about the company. But I know that when we deal with OpenGov, I mean, you're talking to people in California, Florida. They're all really good. Their main office, STW's main office, the financial software, is in Grapevine, Texas.
And the only reason I ask whether it's public or a private company, because sometimes when it's private, they're like family owned, your main principal dies, and there goes bye-bye your $105,000, you know, because the brain dies. So really important that if it's a company that's been there a while, you know, it, you know, it might be a lot stronger if it's
And
publicly traded.
when they came to the South County STW software for the demo, they had a short presentation about OpenGov. And we were all looking at each other like, what does OpenGov have to do with this? So shortly after that, OpenGov bought STW. So they were already planning that sale.
Mary, this is something, have you had a chance to look at it? And this would be cloud-based as well?
And we're purchasing some items that we don't have right now, like a bank reconciliation program, a fixed asset program. We're not using those right now. Your country does not have a bank reconciliation program. OpenGov does.
Well, are they gonna do the training here? Are they gonna come down and do the training?
I believe the training might be online, but when we go live, they will be here. Because Zapata County is already using OpenGov. And if I remember, the training was online,
Now,
but they were there for when they were.
since Zapata is using OpenGov, and you've been doing work at Zapata how many, 15 years? Something like that here. So how long have you been using this software?
Did OpenGov about 3 months.
Also, it's pretty new.
It's pretty. They just started. They just started with it. In fact, the general ledger part of it, I liked immediately. I knew that the person in charge of cash receipts and accounts payable were not going to like it because they've been using Kill Country for 20 years. But actually, last week, the person that does the cash receipts told me, I'm starting to like it. It's better than Kill Country.
When did you work for Billy Hall?
Billy Hall, that was around 1993 through, that was like 95 through 2002.
Yeah, Billy Hall was the, Billy Hall was the, treasurer in Webb County. And, yeah, big trucking company. Yeah, he had, well, I don't know, maybe his kids, but he passed away already, but you've been doing the different treasurer's office since 1995, basically, or before that.
Even before.
Mary, just say you want it.
Maybe a few less headaches, work easier.
Let's call from the department. Once we train them how to do their budget.
So when they take off, there's actually somebody gonna show up, and when you first start, and then, yeah,
Yes, and they'll be here for the whole week. If we need them for the whole week.
Uh, Any idea where you're gonna take it from?
I believe we budgeted,
On 442, right?
$499. $499, 402, I believe it is.
I think there's only 15,000 there. However, because we're gonna have to go back and look at that.
$499, maybe not 402.
Well, we put 113 in the county clerk, and it might be the wrong line item. And 402. On 12402 on insurance bonds premiums, have we allocated the money due to from the prison back to us already yet? Or is it everything all together? Is it extremely high? Because usually most of our insurance and bond premiums are all paid at the beginning of the year. And up to date, we have spent 145,000. It looks like that price has actually doubled than what it usually is.
And I'll review that because I actually did an adjustment for that to transfer the expenses to the regional detention, but that might have been for 2019. Maybe we haven't done that in 2020.
So I think you got enough in there to cover that.
And depending on the conversion process, we might not have to pay it this year.
I mean, you still got enough of contingencies, but I wouldn't want to hit all the contingency funds at one time.
So it's a one-time first year.
I would check your insurance. I think you got cushion there that we can amend from that amount. And I would also check your unemployment insurance to break out what departments are coming out. Because we're a little bit under on that too. So I think those are had a little bit up. I will also look at your workers' comp and make sure that you allocate those amounts. And if that's not the case, then we can take out contingencies. I would also check on the county clerk. Margie, if you can see what purchases do you need to finish out the year. Because we're gonna get that equipment over here instead of out of your fund, it's gonna free some money up. So kind of juggle it, you could work with us there too. Um, I think there's like 4 or 5 places you can kind of look into that. So I would make a motion to authorize county treasurer to purchase the open government software. Uh, First, look at those line items and fund non-departmental, which include unemployment insurance, work compensation, and the insurance, reconcile those amounts. And if there isn't sufficient money in those, then we'll take the money out of contingency. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Number 16 and 17, discussion possible action to accept $1,000 donation from Williams Energy for fire department. I think Mary already got the $1,000 check. And also number 17, discussion possible action to accept $3,000 donation pledge from Plains Gas Solutions. They haven't brought it in yet, but they have pledged $3,000. And Joe, I don't know if you have anything to say. But you did get the $1,000. What are y'all gonna use it for, safety equipment? I'll make that motion just to set up the donations. 16 and 17. Motion's been made to accept donations from Williams Energy and pledge from Plains Gas Solutions. Now they've helped out before, right? They've done it before. Motion's been made second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed. Number 18, discussion possible action on South Texas Rural Health Services drug testing and jail contract renewal. One, they're saying that this drug testing place was out of business. Oh, so for the time being, Mary didn't have a contract with any employees for the summer. I asked her to send them to South Texas Rural Health for the urine test. So, I mean, we can go out for bids and try to get them a price as well. Now, South Texas also has a contract. They won a contract on continuing jail services. But what I like to do, I like to see what they have for telemed. The jail commission is going to be, I don't know, September 1st, October 1st. Telemedicine. Huh?
We're ahead of kiosk. So, but there were some terms that we requested on the contract, and I don't believe all of them have been. I don't believe that they actually used all of like what they do on site evaluation.
So we're paying $4,000 a month right now. And I just got the contract, and I haven't even looked at it. But one of the things is that we're also being required by the jail commission to have different medical concerns. And I think one of the things the sheriff told me that he was concerned is that if they're gonna get someone to come administer medicine or do something at jail, it should be at least a nurse, you know, or LVN or RN or whatever the jail commission requires. It should not be an aide. So he wants his assurances that that's gonna happen. But we need to look at several medical deals, because they're also asking us to have the telemed. We're gonna have to have it in place. There's some other places that offer it. So we want to make sure that if we're gonna have telemed, that we're gonna have access. Because I asked him, because you have telemed, said, yes, we do. Well, I'd like to see how it works. I'm not used to this telemed stuff. I can't say I know who does it better, what's easier. I would like something that's easier, but I think we should all kind of be exposed to it and kind of look at it and see what's the best package. Because if it's easy for us to understand on telemed or an iPad like the Zoom is, then it may be easy for the prisoners too. They got to feel comfortable.
Right now, one of our main concerns is not actually having any LPN or any registered nurse in there.
And is the jail commission gonna allow a telemed, nurse to instruct to dispense the medicine? I don't know what those changes are.
They may make allowances for it later, but I just got to read, information, required. They didn't talk about that. Now, doctors can also be, they can be spaced over that, and a doctor will make a determination whether or not that person has to take it before they see it.
Just on that drug testing, or are they gonna do a drug testing?
Well, what I was gonna ask for now on the drug testing is allow the summer kids and allow all employees to new hires to be tested at Celtics will help for drug testing for urinal only. And then we put out an RFP for if you want to still do the hair follicle.
But they don't do hair follicle.
No, they don't do hair follicle. But I mean, 'cause remember we had met with Rolando, and he's the one doing the vitamin with Dr. Garza, Uribe Garza de Laredo. And we had agreed to him, we told him not to do the contract, but we never really broke away from them. We can always bring them, but at that time the oil field was good, so they were testing people over here all the time. Now they're not, so they may not be willing to travel over here. But,
Did we have, were they doing it at the nurse home?
Ours were because we ran it,
Okay, so now we can't.
unless we take it back over, but the other nurses were doing it at the nursing home for us. Unless we take that over. But for the time being, you got a new employee, there's no hair follicle, I'm saying, hey, for the time being, until we put a new request for proposals, allow South Texas will help us do, and for that employee to understand that it's still conditional upon getting hair follicle testing.
But then once you hire somebody and the hair follicle comes positive, it's up to the head department to lay them off or not, and that'll be a strike. So I think a new employee has to go to the hair follicle,
Where at? So you do hair follicle?
or maybe talk to some other, can you not do your?
They said they can get it, and it's a little bit more expensive, if you want to RFP or negotiate the price. And, we could send them for hair follicle, I'm just saying it may be a $400 charge. Yeah. Versus a 300. I mean, or I can tell you what. Say, let's go ahead and approve, for the kids, for the urinal, and give Mary the ability to seek pricing, for the hair follicle testing.
You're only for the kids, right?
For the kids, well, you're not just for the kids.
What about the new hires? Now, right now,
They're investigating us.
we don't have a contract with anybody with the new hires now.
Well, I mean, I would say do a contract, let's just get some prices and send people to the one that's lowest. I mean, we'll contact 4 or 5 different people.
If they really want to work for the county, they'll go to the radio.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying they won't go.
No, I mean, they'll go work for Laredo, some of them may come over here to do the testing.
We just need to have a place
Uh, But how about I just get some pricing where we'll work on it together. We'll put a little form, we'll email to different doctors, what we want. Different Carlos, if you can do it too, and just get the best price.
way to go.
And then we do that immediately, that way there's no delay. I think I can get that done in a couple days, 1 or 2 days. But the urinal for the kids is something that will help.
That's what I need. Make that motion. We go with South Texas for that.
And then go with the lowest of 5 different vendors for, hair follicle testing.
That's my motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yep. Carlos, South Texas Health. Outreach Home Health also. And if we get 6 or 7, do more. But I'll try to get as many as I can. We ready? Adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Shortest meeting ever.